Welcome to Roguecast, the official podcast of Rogues Gallery. We'll talk comics for the week, as well as whatever news is on our pop cultural radar. I'm Randy.
I'm Nick.
This is Dave.
And now, on with the show.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Roguecast in what is one of the biggest comic weeks we've had in a long time.
Yes, we had to rearrange the store to accommodate everything coming out.
We actually had to move things around, yes.
Yeah. And we have already, you know, if you're a regular, you know that we've already been regularly keeping graphic novel Overspill on a table during part of the week until we can get it back up on the wall.
That's not going to change.
That used to be an occasional thing, now it's every week.
Yeah, that's just every week.
Single issue comics are healthier than they have been in a long time.
Yeah, it's nice. Thanks, Joel. I'm excited to see people excited.
I'm also excited to see stuff selling that otherwise might not have at previous times. Like there's stuff that would have been a niche book that people are really enjoying.
Yeah. Sometimes there's speculators fueling things, but like sometimes that like does draw attention to for at least some of the books have some people actually reading them.
Yeah, for sure.
But you know, it's like like Dork or whatever that sold out the other week. Like that, like people are going to put eyes on that book that wouldn't have if some dumb speculator.
And I hope people stick with it because some of those books are a lot of fun.
Yeah,
yeah.
But so the big thing this week is massive reprints of the Absolute comics.
Welcome to Absolute reprint world.
Yes.
Yep.
I honestly, there was a time I think right after the holidays when I was like, it looks to me like they're done reprinting these and they're maybe not going to do it.
There's been a lot of pressure from retailers to DC, and DC smartly was like, you know what? Let's sell a bunch of single issues while we can.
And this is not to say that the trades aren't selling, because
the trades are selling great.
They're selling amazingly.
But there are some people that don't want trades, that want single issues.
Yep.
So what are they're reprinting like the not quite up to current, but close to current.
We'll get to when we talk about comics.
Okay.
So start off with a reminder: the clearance sale's still going on.
Yep.
We started with 1,200 items. We're down to just over to 800.
Yep.
So lots of good
people
stuff back there.
Stuff.
50% off games, comics, graphic novels, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, it's fun. I've noticed people picking up like some of like the stuff where I was like, oh yeah, this was a really juicy one, something I was sad to see go, but like really deserved its readership. But people are also finding stuff that's a little more like kind of like just off the beaten path too, which is interesting to see. And I can tell it's like they found the thing that they were looking for.
Yep.
I was like, I can see why maybe this graphic novel didn't take off, but this person is the niche audience that wanted to read that kind of fantasy story or this sci-fi story or whatever, or that particular team of Avengers that they did a side story with, So it's cool to also see people find their thing.
Yeah. Game-wise, we got the Heat Rocky Roads expansion. This is two more tracks. Another set of cars. You can get up to like 9 players now, I think, or 10. It's crazy.
Yep.
That's a lot.
We are going to they already announced another Heat expansion coming later this year. We're going to have a Heat tournament. I believe it's in April. I'm still figuring that out.
Pretty cool.
This is one of my favorite games. Push your luck racing game. And the add-ons are always fun. They add little rules. They add new tracks.
I can't remember. Is Heat Formula 1 set in like the past, in like the golden age of
it's
it?
like
sort of like in the
1920s
60s
racing or something.
Oh, I thought it was like the 60s.
I don't know.
Okay. But it's not the present. It doesn't.
It's
look
not.
They don't look like the modern.
It's not Formula Day.
It's not Formula Day.
Yep. Somebody did come in the other day and he saw that and he's like, isn't that just Formula D? And I was like, no, it is a different game that on the surface looks a little similar but has its own mechanics and all that.
No.
And is breaking out.
1966 championship season.
There you go. That makes sense.
Dave was correct.
So
I feel is that what is it, Le Mans and stuff like that? Like it's like that. There was my buddy Jimmy is like a big Formula 1 and racing fan in general, and like I feel like that's like one of those golden age eras.
He's not alone. That fan base is pretty large.
Well, the maps in Rocky Roads are the South Africa Grand Prix, which features treacherous gravel on the track, and the Germany track, which says there's a long straightaway.
Oh, interesting.
And it does say the 1966 championship season, and there's a new innovation called the sliding skirts.
So I have to ask about the mechanics of the game. I didn't know this until I watched the movie F1.
Yeah.
That there are actual teams in Formula racing.
Oh, okay.
Are there teams in this? Okay,
this one you're on your own.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought that would be a unique mechanic to add in because you're actually working in concert with another car.
You know where I've seen that was in Ricky Bobby, the legend.
Yep, Talladega Nights.
Yeah. So
funny.
But I thought that might be an interesting incorporation. But
it's funny.
not. Okay.
I am not like I'm not a racing person, but I can kind of like sometimes I can see the draw. I did play Formula D, and I actually quite liked it.
Yeah, it was a good game.
And so I should probably try this at some point. I was watching this YouTuber I watched the other day. She does like kind of anthropology science and some other related stuff.
Okay.
But she's on the spectrum, and she was saying that she had recently been at a party where someone was watching F1 racing and became it became their hyperfixation.
Sure.
And so she's watching it, and she actually found a way. She's like, there is something about how these cars work that compares to the study of like paleontology and the difference between how like dinosaur or like lizards walk and how was it like dinosaurs walk. And it has to do with like, you know how they have like the wheels out on those, the and all that. And I was like, oh, that is interesting. I hadn't thought about it, but it's like it's a maneuverability and wind resistance kind of thing.
Yeah, there's airflow, all these things come into play.
And just that little snippet made me think, I'm like, you know what? I know there's like just so much kind of cool strategy and stuff into it. It kind of made me want to get into it.
Yeah, I can see it.
We have Magnus Protocol. What's it called? The Mysteries, The Last Supper. This is a board game, not the RPG. It sounds a little bit like the Unlock stuff, maybe.
Okay.
So you step into the world of the Magnus Protocol podcast. You work together to read through provided evidence, listen to audio files, inspect pictures to piece together the case.
Oh.
Each case comes with one or two puzzles that you solve in order to unlock necessary evidence. The Last Supper is about a famous young chef who specializes in cooking organs, found dead in her apartment with an organ missing from her own body.
Interesting.
So this is kind of like that detective book game
that we played years back.
Because you said it was part of a podcast, but the Magnus Archives is what I was thinking of.
Right,
Magnus Protocol is a prequel or a sequel to that podcast.
Yes.
I did not realize that had a sister series.
I just knew it was tied to the
So
Magnus
does that mean
Archives.
that probably these cases will have like a supernatural?
Yes,
event?
it does say for sure it has supernatural.
That's interesting.
That actually makes me kind of.
So wait, what is the game like?
The game is it's got audio clips, it's got pictures, so it's not like Unlock or that game Detective where you're trying to. It's a puzzle game,
solve.
Or those Hunt a Killer. If you've ever done those Hunt a Killers,
That reminds me, I got a game like a year ago that I haven't played yet, but that uses an audio component where you download an app.
Yeah.
And I'm like, some of these sound like they could do pretty cool stuff with that. Like, you know, what if you're listening to cool ghost sounds and things like that?
Oh, that makes me kind of want to play this because I kind of like the idea of crime solving.
Like a fun.
Magnus Archives at its best was great.
Yeah,
it had some great stories.
This sounds like a really fun sort of party game.
It does.
Yeah,
that's cool.
We got a game called Bullseye, which is a game where you are playing in rounds. You give clues about a word or phrase that will be guessed by the archer. Each clue is written one letter at a time, but before you add another letter, everyone passes their clue clockwise, which means you don't have to add a letter to your teammate's clue instead of your own. So the archer, the player, needs to guess the word or phrase based on partial clues, but you have to intuit which clues your teammates started so you can continue them. So there's some weird wordplay guessing.
So is this kind of like a weird game of telephone?
A little bit like that,
you end up with goofy words and stuff?
I don't know.
I would assume it sounds like
it sounds like it.
It sounds fun.
Yeah, that does sound fun. I never know quite what's going to hit me, but like games like what's the
Illustrations?
What's the word game? No, not Upwards.
Codenames?
Codenames, yeah. Codenames is a game I really like. And I like the idea of sort of an interesting sort of wordplay, word mystery sort of game.
Yeah. A game called Canvas Critters, which is where the critters from the forest have gathered to have their art festival.
Okay.
So in a party-style game, your 2 to 6 players draft multicolored animal-shaped meeples to create the most eye-catching mosaics, based on a theme chosen by the curator for that turn.
That's interesting.
Which is kind of neat. A game called Lost in the Woods, which is kind of like that micro-macro we've played. Mm-hmm. It's a big map, kind of like Where's Waldo style map.
Yes.
And you are one player is lost on the map. The rest of the players have to find them by listening to the description of the map of the area they're lost in, and you look for like clues and stuff like that.
Oh, that's interesting.
The micro-macro games are a ton of fun.
Yeah. This says you're limited by a communication card, which creates a silly restriction.
Nice.
Creates a what restriction?
Silly restriction.
Oh, that's funny.
Got a game called Aquatica Duelium, which is another 2-player game where you are a turtle king or a squid queen, and you're trying to improve your realm by playing action cards and assembling locations on 3-layered boards. You have a secret goal, and you're trying to meet them.
Yeah.
Another one of these dual 2-player games.
What a cliche, though, to play a Turtle King or a Squid Queen.
Right?
Yeah,
It's,
I mean,
another
every day.
Squid Queen
Yeah.
Turtle King game.
Every day.
I guess everybody has got to make one.
Yeah. And then Wispwood, which is a cat patrolling a forest.
Huh?
You're looking at wisp tiles and trying to place them on grid. So it's a tile placement game.
Visually, this one looked like a really cool
it's
game.
very
cool.
pretty. Yeah.
I thought it was like you said, cat patrolling the woods, and I was like, suddenly remembering those reports I read about those studies where they're talking about how like cats just completely devastate local populations of birds and small animals. I was like, oh, is this some dark game where the cat slaughters everything? I guess it's not that
Are you saying
realistic.
cats are vicious, evil creatures?
They are.
They're not evil, but their biology, their evolutionary programming is pretty hardcore.
I don't know if you've met my cat. She's not evolutionary.
All cats are delightful.
All cats are sociopaths.
No, they're big love bugs.
And sociopaths. We also got the some cool stuff from the guys who do roll and play, people who do One Shot Wonders, that hardcover book.
It's the role playing game.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a handout crafting set.
Oh, this looks so cool. It's like for DMs, like a toolkit.
Yep.
For making like
It's got wanted posters. It's got letters. It's got invitations.
like you're like,
ribbons.
oh, I want to do some cool stuff so that here's their invite to the ball, or yes, here's them on a wanted poster, or here's the bad guy they're bounty hunting or whatever.
It's a really cool idea. I like it a
man.
lot.
I always remember when I was a kid, my brother would hand make those because he's always liked the prop side of it, and I remember seeing him do some of the work of it where he would like take a piece of paper and write on it in pen, and then have like a little bowl with iced tea in it, and would like sort of dip the edges in it so that it gets that old and weathered look.
Yep.
And like he was getting those advice from like Dragon magazine. I
Yep.
think would have like articles on it, but not everybody has that time, and this like kind of does the heavy lifting for you.
Seems very handy. We also got
So cool looking.
We got,
I also think like it would even inspire you. Serena, I know, was our staffer was eyeing it and like, this makes me want to run a game.
We also got a box of monster tokens, which is generic tokens of different sizes for if you don't want to use miniatures. Seems very handy. And then some gaming notebooks. There's a couple of journals that are spiral bound, and then there's one that is like a 3-ring binder kind of thing. But you have sheets you can buy that have extra information or maps. So like if DM wanting to do a custom binder for their campaign.
That sounds handy.
Really cool like add-on stuff,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. And we don't have these yet because they don't release till Friday.
Right.
But there are 2 big collectible card game drops coming on Friday.
Yep.
One is Star Wars Lawless Time,
Yep.
which seems to be set in the era between the
Looks like
prequels and the main movies.
Well, it
Right.
says looks like the precons are
Jabba the Hutt and Leia Organa. Oh, yeah, you're right.
She's in Bosch.
Well, it's interesting because I see that Lando from the Solo movie is on there.
Oh, interesting.
And someone from the Rebels era. So it's like
it would make sense if it was that in between era.
Oh, I wonder if it's just themed around like criminals and stuff.
I think it might be because
That would
it's
make
got all
sense.
that.
Jabba's palace.
Oh yeah, because Lando's like a scoundrel.
That's
And-
pretty cool. This is a card game that's gone over really well, and I think that kind of idea with all the bounty hunters and stuff, I think will get people.
Also worth noting, people always ask if we run any games. We don't, but we do have someone who runs Star Wars for us.
Yep.
It's now at Flix Brew House. So on Saturday, I believe at Flix Brew House, there will be a pre-release. So you can come get a pre-release kit, go play, and get some prize support and
across the
stuff.
street.
Yeah. So that'll be going on Saturday. We'll sell stuff on Friday.
What are those spotlight deck ones?
It's
That's
just the
their
starter
kind of
decks.
like their starter deck.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And then it's like I say, it's Jabba, and then
Leia.
the Bosch version of Leia.
Bush.
Bush.
Bush?
It's Bush.
I said Bosch.
Fool.
Bosch is Henry
You're thinking
Bosch.
of
That's
Hieronymus Bosch.
Yes.
The painter.
Yes.
Not Hieronymus Bush, the
bounty
low
hunter.
life.
No one thinks of Hieronymus Bosch the painter. They always think of Bosch the detective from
Oh,
the
I
book
guess. I don't
series.
watch TV.
I think they think of Hieronymus Bosch, the bounty hunter.
Hieronymus Bush.
He's like, I'm going to bring you in, but first, have you seen my painting of the apocalypse?
Spell my first name.
And if you can't, I will put you in handcuffs. If you can, I must let you free. These are the rules imparted upon me by the Fey Kingdom.
And I have had to. I know I have had to write that name out before, and I'm like, Hieronymus.
I just typed it, and I'm 100% sure I typed it correctly. I know how to spell the name Hieronymus, but I will be set free by the bounty hunter. I can say and spell his name.
You shall know the Bosch, and the Bosch shall set you free.
Yes, indeed, yes. We also are getting the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Magic Set.
Yes. This is like kind of their obviously one of their franchise kind of tie-in ones that they do kind of in between the regular sets,
yes.
right?
But I think this is a big one. It's a full set. So we've got bundles, play boosters. Are there starters?
There are starters.
Or Commander decks, I meant.
There's something. We don't have... I don't know what all we have yet, so there's more coming. But
you know what's funny? I'm looking at this bundle, and there's like a little like jar of ooze icon, and it says a turtle in every pack. So I see that no matter what, I guess every pack you open is guaranteed to have a turtle.
Isn't that what FDR promised everyone?
Yes,
turtle in every pack and a car in every garage. It wasn't FDR. Who promised that?
I have no.
What's the chicken in every pot? Who was that president?
Steve.
Oh, Steve. Yeah, President Steve.
This also, like, by the way,
I don't know.
It's funny. It's just like this is just packaging. But Nick, you pointed out that when you get the bundle, if you like the box that's inside it is like done in the style of their, what do you call it?
Their turtle van or the. I said it. Now I can't say it, but it's their van.
Yeah, is that the thing that like fires like the
pizzas?
Well, I was gonna say I thought it was like maybe this was just in the trailers for the newer ones. I thought it was manhole covers.
Oh, it is manhole covers. You're correct.
Yeah,
there is one.
You don't throw away a good pizza.
They did have a toy that did fire pizzas.
I do remember this. So that's cool. The box is basically that vehicle. The life counter that comes with it is like this really cool looking green die, and it looks like the 20 on it has a little turtle face on it. Anyway,
and we can guarantee that the art for this is going to be great. Like they turn out with some fantastic cards. So
I can't remember if this is one of those like all eras of the Turtles, or if like it's like their own take on them. The art on the front...
their lands are rooftop lands.
Oh, that's so cool.
That's cool. Okay.
Okay.
Anyway,
so Nick and I are playing Magic now.
Yeah. All right.
No, I don't need another thing.
Right.
Let's dig in. You'll have faded on Marvel Snap, so you need a new addiction.
I just bought the season pass. We'll see what happens.
All right. Let's talk about this giant ass week of comics.
Yes.
And let's start with a couple big finales. DCKO wraps up this week.
Yep.
Yes.
With issue number 5.
This was
big throwdown.
You know, I think we talked about who, or maybe we didn't. Did we talk about who kind of won the King Omega?
No, because that was a spoiler.
Well, I'm not. There's twists beyond that. I'm saying who won it in the previous issue.
No, because that would have been a spoiler when we were talking about it.
Yeah.
Right. So we can talk about that though, real quick.
Yeah, I think we can.
Yeah.
I think
Basically, the way things played out was that Luthor like sucker punched Superman when he was just about to win it.
Yep.
And he attacked him from behind and took him off the board. And so it ended up with Luthor with the KO power.
Yep.
King
versus
Omega
Darkseid.
Versus Darkseid. And unsurprisingly, like a lot of people who looked at like the little bracket of fights we had up there, but weren't reading the comic, were just always like, oh, well, just who wins the fight? I'm like, there is always something more to this. It is a story and character driven thing.
Yep.
That wasn't just two characters pound each other for 22 pages.
That was the gimmick. The story itself
Scott Snyder
actually
always wanted to tell a story, and
there is more to this issue than Lex Luthor beating up on Darkseid.
Right. There are some twists and turns. There's surprise comebacks in this.
There's callbacks to previous big DC events.
There's a couple big spreads that sort of set up what's going to happen next in the DC pages.
There's for sure. Yeah, there's a sense of some big fallout that will happen from this.
I don't know about you guys, but this and just seeing all the solicits for the new stuff, it's got me really excited for the DC universe.
Yeah,
I really like DC. A buzz time to be a DC fan.
Yep. And then there's like the preview of the new Batman book and a lot of the titles this week, and the art by Danny looks amazing.
Yep. And we already like Greg Rucka. He recently did the under-read Cheetah Cheshire miniseries that everybody should
missed out on.
Come back for that in the trade paperback.
Yep. I think we just ordered that trade.
It was such a cool villain heist story of them trying to break into the Watchtower, and you're like, these characters don't seem to have the power level to pull it off, but maybe they can.
Yeah. Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees, Rite of Spring, number 6. This is the completion of the serial killer bear, Sam, who in the last issue, basically the town figured out she was a serial killer.
Right.
And where it goes from there is crazy big and horrifying.
Yes, this is, we're talking about this thematically, but without saying details, because the details are, it was a really good finale.
It's a great finale.
And yet it was also dark, but like, there was a few points when it could have gone really dark, and there's a few little hopeful moments. There's these little things in there that kept it from going too far, I thought. But, we talked about this off mic earlier, Randy, that Samantha, like, in the very first issue of the first comic, there's been too many series, and in the original one, you see her kill an innocent person.
Yep.
And yet, because she is the protagonist, just like Dexter, just like what's his name in Breaking Bad, you kind of find yourself rooting for her. She is our lead point of view character in that first series, and you find yourself rooting for her even though she's a pretty bad person. Well, this second miniseries, seen through the eyes, partially at least, you still see a lot of her, but the sister of of that victim from the very first issue, who has been like through the early internet, because it's set in like the early 90s or mid 90s, kind of is on her trail, kind of, and years after that killing. And you will be reminded in this, she is a monster. A true, terrible monster.
She's not someone to root for,
She's not someone to root for,
No.
but she is still a compelling presence. And, this issue was unpredictable. Like, if you had told me what was going on in this series, I was fascinated just by the perspective of, like, that it was a sibling of a victim in this, and that was already turning things upending it. And then there's like this running through line about like kind of like digital technology and the internet and stuff kind of coming to their small town and how that's changing things and making life weirder for her too, and potentially threatening her. And then there's a number of characters whose lives, they all sort of come together in this dark Seinfeldian way, where their overlapping stories get really fascinating and also dark. So I thought it was a great ending.
So you're saying this is kind of cementing
I think it's one of the best miniseries of the year. And the writer and artist Patrick Horvath has proven himself to be like one of those people who is like legit that double threat.
Hasn't missed yet. I mean, both Beneath the Trees are great, and the one shot that he did,
that was about the
name
rich
of
having
it.
to fight to the death in a gladiator arena, and a guy having to fight his wife, I think.
Yeah, we have that in
We're both sort of super wealthy.
We have that in hardcover now.
Yep.
Definitely worth a look. I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah,
I can't remember either. It's right next. We store it right next to it right next to Beneath the Trees.
Yeah.
Though.
But and he had a story in one of the horror anthologies. Oh, it's that Bites of Love or whatever the Ignition did.
Oh yeah,
and it was a really good story. So he's not missed yet. I'm like excited to see what he does next, and I could definitely see him doing more Beneath the Trees.
Yes, we there's a way they could do this. I agree.
Okay, so DC All In Phase 2 starts this week. This is basically all of their books, the ones that have been running, are getting a new story arc name and a sort of a banner that is sort of a consistent design. Yep. And they're basically giving everybody a chance to jump in on books you might not have been reading.
Yep. All In started about, like 2-ish years ago?
Yeah. But what's important is this is post-DCKO.
That's right. That's
the dividing line here.
Yeah. All In was, kind of paved the way, I think, for, the really strong current state of DC.
Yes.
And specifically, it launched the Absolute line as well.
Yep.
And now they're doing their sort of Phase 2, which means we're going to be putting up signs that have the little notes on that, whether these are Phase 2. And just as an example, the 2 that are hitting this week.
3.
Or is it 3? Oh, because Batman?
Yeah.
Yes. But one of them, though, is Batgirl, the Cassandra Cain comic.
Yep.
And, there is a sort of a notable thing that does happen in it that's, going to change that kind of the vibe of the book a little bit, which has something to do with, a sort of a power she's getting.
Yep.
But it is rooted in some lore that's been building in those comics. I could tell reading through it, I was like, oh, this is not the first time this has come up.
It's still being written by Tate Bromball. We've been seeing this book sell out over and over again, so giving people a chance to jump on. And it's got art by Takeshi Miyazawa, who I really like.
Yeah. I didn't realize that was Takeshi Miyazawa.
Yep.
No wonder it was so good.
Yep.
But yeah, we're ordering a little extra on these so that you guys can, have the opportunity to get on board in what is the sort of notable Phase 2. Even if I don't know what issue that is of Batgirl.
It's number 17.
It's issue 17, but they're engineered to be you could get on here.
Yeah, they all have their story arc. This one says the Curse of the Blood starts here. It is a chance to jump on it, and almost I think all the DC books are going to have these.
So
Right.
I just looked at the numbering on Poison Ivy.
Yeah.
Has G. Will Wilson really written 42 issues?
Yep. The longest Poison Ivy book anyone's ever done.
So
It should not, honestly, it should not have been possible.
So
Yeah.
this is a big new status quo for Pamela Isley.
We've actually talked about this one, and we knew it was coming.
Did we talk about this?
we mentioned, I think,
or at least
briefly.
behind the scenes, I knew that she was going to become mayor of Gotham.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is the mayor of Gotham, which brings her into conflict with the police commissioner of Gotham, a.k.a. Vandal Savage.
Because
Yep.
like an issue or two back, I randomly caught up, and she was in Gotham, but not mayor yet.
Yep.
And Vandal Savage, like, kind of beat her up and, like, was trying to, like, show that she was under his thumb. And now the shoe is completely on the other foot.
Yeah.
So, and it's going to be interesting to see there clearly is going to be some sort of political balance between them. They're
Yeah.
like, they can't completely take each other off the grid, but they don't like each other, and they're going to have to work together.
As
in
a
some
crazy
way.
comparison for me, as I was reading this, my brain couldn't help but think this was sort of like Gotham West Wing.
Yeah, a little bit.
And because she definitely has
Well,
a
you see
cabinet
her
she's dealing
cabinet,
with,
yeah.
kind
Well,
of.
it's also not unlike what they've been doing with Kingpin on the Daredevil TV show and
Yeah.
in the Daredevil comics. The idea of like being a mayor of a major city is bigger than just being
Yeah.
like a small town mayor. This is, it's not the presidency.
Now, it doesn't show how she came to power. I'm
It
sure
does not. No,
and I want to
Is it possible that was in the previous issue, or do you think they will reveal it in flashback?
I think they'll do it in flashbacks.
because
but I
I'm
don't
like,
know.
how does Gotham, who've been tormented by this woman,
Right. They're like,
decide to vote for her?
Probably most Gothamites
Well-
are like, remember 5 years ago when the entire city was blanketed by carnivorous plants?
Well, they mention
Let's vote for her.
they mention she swept the mayoral election with 70% of the vote.
Right.
So that seems to indicate something weird.
I wonder if, like, given her, like, essentially her powers,
Yeah.
she could potentially do something, like, things that are like, oh, yeah, I'm trying to even think about it, like, using plants to remove garbage from the streets, or is it, like, something
Yeah,
like that
she could definitely-
that could have, like, really helped this city?
Well, it's funny,
or maybe she saved the city.
her
from
cabinet is a mix of like there's some woman named Janet who's like in a white suit who clearly has some kind of plant connection powers.
Yeah, I think
There's-
she had a fling with Pamela Isley.
Yeah,
I
There's a
think.
guy named Warren White who looks like a skull-faced
Well,
dude.
no, that's
Who
the
is that?
shark from the
Oh, that's the
second
shark.
Arkham
Okay.
comic
Miniseries.
miniseries,
I was wondering about that.
There's
yeah.
a dude with a flower for a head.
which I think is akin to the flower guy from the
Blue?
Harley Quinn
Oh.
animated show.
Okay. And then there's a woman who apparently has magic powers that
Yeah.
Poison Ivy didn't know about.
Correct.
And she seems sort of somewhat skeptical of her.
And
And then also she has a meeting with a very big, the powerful Green Lobby. In other words,
this is the gray.
the Parliament of not trees, but somebody called Xylon, who is not exactly the green, not the red.
They call him the gray.
What is the gray? Do we know
Mushrooms.
it's
Fungi.
Fungi.
Oh.
The
Which
fungi.
has been a thing since the first issue of this whole
Yeah.
run.
I think the blending of all of these ideas
Yep.
and kind of rooting it in this character who's not a hero but not truly a villain anymore.
I think
Yeah.
they've definitely allowed her in the book to have her redemption streak, but they're like, it's kind of like they're redefining what a hero or a protagonist can be. But I imagine there is, from what I've read, a bit of a Breaking Bad.
and how
vibe
she's
to
at
this.
odds with Vandal Savage really
Yeah.
kind of is compelling.
It's a really fun first issue.
It
And
is.
the art is gorgeous.
I,
Marcio Takara, I think.
Yeah,
I've said this a lot lately, but it really makes me want to go back and read.
I want to catch up. Yeah.
I can say having I've probably read about 3 volumes, I guess, worth of it in the early ones, and then stray issues at later. She has consistently worked with great artists on that book.
Yeah. And then there's Batman, which is my favorite ongoing book of the moment. I know we all like this.
Mm-hmm.
This is bringing back the Joker in a way we have not seen him before. He is in Arkham in like a super secure facility.
They kind of teased him in the last issue.
I kind of don't want to quite say the way he is.
Right.
There is a sort of Hannibal Lecter-ish energy to
Yep.
it.
Yeah.
Like, how, like, you never quite thought Hannibal Lecter was going to, like, smash through the window and get loose.
Right.
But you're like, he was such a dangerous presence. They're doing something, like, weirder with Joker right now.
I'll
And
say-
it is a kind of a nail biter of a scene.
It is. It's good.
And it's like an extended scene. Like, I feel like in some ways it's the whole, maybe last
It is the
half
whole
of
issue.
the book.
I was really taken, and this is such a silly thing, that Batman has to take his shoes off.
Yes.
I was
The
like,
second
I've
time
never seen Batman
in this series.
Barefoot Batman,
but
it's weird.
Barefoot Batman is weird.
Yep.
And I like it, and I don't know.
Well, it makes him feel more human and less powerful.
Yes.
Yeah, and he doesn't even
100%.
like question it. This is like
No, he's just-
it's a security measure, and everybody who's maybe like watched Andor and seen remember the prison sequence
Yep.
in there.
Yeah.
The prisoners all had to like sort of go, I think, barefoot because they had electrified tiles, and it's like if you ever disobeyed the Empire, you just get zapped. They just kill you with it.
I really like Batman in this. Is like he is still confident, in charge of everything Batman, but he is wary of the Joker.
Yeah.
And what he's doing, and he
Batman
definitely
felt
does not
smart
He
in
definitely
this.
does not trust anyone who is imprisoning the Joker. He's like I've watched dozens of people be taken in by the Joker.
Yeah.
Harley Quinn on down.
Yeah.
He's like he wouldn't. Why would you ever trust anyone who says they've got him contained?
Yeah.
Right.
Also, this is a platform for Jorge Jimenez doing
Yeah, he
some
gets to really-
phenomenal artwork.
There's a fantastic this fold out where 2 pages fold out to be this big 4-page spread.
Yes.
That shows everything from the Joker fish to Killing Joke referenced in here with little visuals.
Yeah, it is like one of those. It's going to be a probably long remembered Joker piece of art.
Yeah. But it's really good.
Yeah. This is a good, very tense issue.
Yep.
I might say this is some of Fraction's best
So,
work.
so those
Yeah.
are the 3 books that are all in Phase 2.
Yep. Yep.
Again, we're going to be putting signs on these to help you find them. Recommend giving them a shot.
Yeah.
See which ones draw you out and give them a shot. Try. This is a good time to do it.
We get a reprint of Marvel Team Up number 14, which is notable because this was when Robert Kirkman was writing. And it is
Right.
it is a crossover between Invincible and Spider-Man
Yep.
with art by Cory Walker, original
I
Invincible
forgot it was
artist.
part of a broader Marvel Team Up series, and I thought it was just a Marvel Team Up one-shot
No,
with Invincible.
he wrote a Marvel Team Up series,
Yeah,
like
that's
25
right.
issues.
Yeah.
Yep,
He-
yep.
Scott Collins was on art for a lot of it.
Yep. There was Gravity in there somewhere?
Might have been.
yeah, I think he
I feel
did
like
show
he
up at
might
some
have been.
point.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yes, this is the long out of print Invincible crossover.
Yep. Spider-Man and Invincible fight Doc Ock, and their Avengers are in there, and some of the Guardians of the Globe are in there.
It seems like Marvel, as we've seen with DC, continues to be in a pretty friendly state of about reprinting crossovers and things like that. But don't assume that these will stay in print.
Yeah.
If you want it, get it now.
Also worth noting is it has multiple covers.
Yep.
No, there's like McFarlane, I remember David Finch, I think.
Yep.
There's a whole bunch of good covers on there. Shadows of Tomorrow, the X-Men relaunch continues with Moonstar.
Yep.
This is by Ashley Allen and artist Eduardo Odino. The art is, as always, spectacular.
This is,
So I haven't read this bit yet, Randy, but you were telling me that it seems like it's very steeped in the character's history. Danny Moonstar
Yeah.
from, and I was thinking about this. I believe she was, did she lead the New Mutants right out, or was she co-leading?
She was co-leading with Cannonball.
Cannonball.
Yep.
But basically, she was like the very first X-Men spin-off team,
Yeah.
serious team ever.
Yep.
She was the co-leader on, and at times the full leader.
So
So she's got a lot of history.
well, and also the whole thing of her becoming a Valkyrie.
She became a Valkyrie.
And they tie into all that here because this spins out of something that happened in Magic, the books of the Magic
Like
series,
Ileana, yeah.
where she was working with some group that turned out to be evil, but
We've all
that
done it.
she thought they were good, and she still had... So 2 of her friends who show up from that society needing her help, and she's been staying with her parents. And what's interesting is, because of what happened in Immortal Thor, apparently, nobody remembers Asgard who isn't from there.
Yeah.
So she is like telling her parents, yeah, I'm a Valkyrie from Asgard. I have this winged horse outside. And her parents are like, sure, that's cute, honey. And they don't believe her despite the horse because there's this magical effect that everybody doesn't know Asgard existed.
Interesting.
And it's kind of a fun thing because she's like stuck between 2 worlds. There's this powerful villain that she's facing. And she basically has a unique set of sort of mythical powers and origins.
I've always liked the
fun.
character.
Yeah. Iceman Omega is a one-shot. This collects a digital-first series that is basically the gayest Marvel comic I've ever read.
We're just being factual here.
It has a 4-page spread at the end that sort of celebrates Marvel's queer characters, talks about how, the North Star being gay was like the first crack in the wall, and they talk about Rawhide Kid and some of these sort of like having gay and bi characters and how they had to sort of hide and be like, live in silence or be coded. and how it's become a little more open.
Is this talking about the meta history, like the real history in the real world, or like as the characters saw it?
It's the characters, but there's definitely some meta stuff in there.
Right. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. It's sort of, there's one mention said how many more that we'll never know of, how many more who were forced to live in silence, and it's kind of a because when our existence is relegated or coded, something as simple as a visible kiss can make history. So it's like it's a story within the Marvel universe, but is also telling how it is to be gay characters in Marvel. And that little backup at the back is really interesting. If you're a big Iceman fan and you want to see Iceman at Mega Level Power, this is that book for you.
I kind of like the art in this too.
Yeah, it's written and drawn by Luciana Vecco.
Oh, and I see the Firestar is in it. That's cool.
I saw she made a guest appearance. Mm-hmm. Also Loki. Also, I think a few other. I see Radioactive Man. Maybe Silver Surfer. There's a bunch of guest stars in there.
You know what? If you've been enjoying Heated Rivalry. You might have the Iceman comic for you here.
Yep. There is an X-Men issue this week, but the most notable new one is the X-Men Annual, which is written by and drawn by Ryan Stegman.
A talented artist. He's the artist. He drew most of X-Men,
yep.
the current X-Men
with
book.
Guest artists including Steve Scroach and Sanford Green, both really talented.
Some good guys.
And this is a weird mix of like the Uncanny X-Men team, the X-Men team, and Phoenix come back to Earth to deal with a new mutant who basically, without spoiling too much, drags the artists into the story.
Yeah, that's kind of fun. There's a long tradition in the comics of both cameos of the creators and every once in a while full-on use.
Yep.
Most notably, John Byrne, the writer and artist, was taken to the trial of Reed Richards in the 80s because Reed Richards saved Galactus. Mm-hmm. And Marvel did have that tradition of, like, the idea is that Marvel comics were published within the Marvel Universe. Mm-hmm. It's just that they were kind of like slightly off stories of what really happened. And so he wrote himself in, and they're like, you must come chronicle the Fantastic Four during their trial.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is one of those kind of stories, and so enjoy the weird.
Star Wars Shadow of Maul is a prequel to the Shadow of Maul series that's coming on Disney Plus. It is basically sort of the criminal underworld that Maul is involved in.
And will inevitably take over.
So prequel to that series. A new Vault book. This is an indie company called Nectar from a horror writer, director, something like that, named Jeremy Robinson.
Yeah.
Takes place in Salem in the 1830s. Involves bloodthirsty butterflies.
Not something you typically think of.
Sort of folk horror is the way it's been described.
Yeah, the butterflies are associated with a plague, and it's not just about them, but they seem to be part of the harbinger of strange things to come.
He seems to be a pretty prolific novelist.
Oh, okay.
We were kind of thinking that if you liked Midsummer and things like that, or folk horror like, what's the famous one? The Wicker Man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Not talking about the dumb remake. I'm talking about the OG 70s one.
Worth noting that the speculators have gotten wind of this one, and we only have a few, so if
by the
you
time
want
you
one...
hear this, it's gone.
Yeah, it's probably gone.
We are doing one per person.
You can email us if you'd like us to pull it aside for you.
But also, they will probably do it in print.
There's already a second print solicited.
So yeah.
Disney Villains gets its latest with Gaston. I did flip through this a little bit. Basically,
I saw something happens to Gaston at
that's the very ending, yeah.
I won't say what.
There's an officer of the King's Guard, and basically he outranks Gaston as like a local hunter, and he's being arrogant to Gaston, which is very clever because Gaston is such an arrogant, like, city hero. Right. But to have him in the underdog position is really kind of fun. And
I saw it's got LeFou in it.
It's got LeFou, and there's also some weird. There's like maybe a witchy woman, and that's what's going to get Gaston into some trouble.
It did seem kind of fun. It looked like I was kind of like Gaston is a pretty awful person underneath it all.
Yes.
How do you make him? How do you bring him around or make him fun to watch, even if he's not a hero?
They seem to have found an angle.
I think they found an angle.
So this is by Greg Pak and Fred Van Lente writing as well. So, there is an indie book called Pooh Bear Adventures.
Sure.
Which seems to be the public domain Winnie the Pooh.
Yep. That means that they're not gonna. It's gonna be, but instead of being like doing like one of the horror movie public domain versions that they've done recently. This is like a sincere, meant to be really inspired. It seems like by the original Pooh books.
Yep.
So that they're not drawn to look like Disney, of course, which may have copyrighted that particular look. I don't know how that works.
Yep.
But
you can't put pants on. If he puts on pants,
Now that said, it is shrink wrap. Do you think there's maybe some weird nudity? No, they very specifically said this is completely all ages friendly, classic Winnie the Pooh kind of like heartfelt stories.
Yeah. Let's talk reprints. This is one of the biggest weeks for reprint. We had to move stuff around in the store.
Yeah. Let's start with the smaller ones.
Start with the smaller ones? Okay, so DC All In #1 third printing. That is the lead-in to Absolute
Dark
and
Side.
All In, all that stuff.
Yeah, it also did like the new Justice League Unlimited. Is that what they call it?
Yes.
Was that introduced in that?
It was.
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
that was how.
Okay. That's the kind of core story, actually.
Yeah, they come together, and then Darkseid shows up. And
But historically, what people remember is it's the first appearance of the Absolute Universe. If you want to see it, and see Darkseid's scheme that set it up, this is the issue.
Yep.
We got a new printing of DCKO #1.
Yep.
Which means that we have 1, 3, 4, and 5.
Classic.
We're waiting on a reprint of #2, but you can get most of DCKO.
Sure.
They also reprinted all the fight issues, which I believe we're down. We missed 1 or 2 because we had it and then we sold out. But if you missed Harley Quinn versus Zatanna, Red Hood versus Joker, Cyborg versus Swamp Thing, or Demon versus Lex Luthor, we have all of those, and all of those are pretty good.
Yep.
I know, especially we all really like the Harley Quinn Zatanna one.
Yep. There was there was always some thought put into these. So yes, you do get the you get a beat down, usually a knockdown drag out fight, a best 2 out of 3 rounds thing. But there's usually some thought. There's something else going on, some dueling philosophy, somebody who's got an angle on it that's going to make it a little different than what you thought it was going to be.
We got DCKO Knightfight #2, which means we have 1, 2, and 4. Again, if they reprint 3, we will get 3 as well. But you can get most of Knightfight, which I wound up liking quite a bit.
I thought it was really good.
Batman interacting with alternate world versions of himself.
And his family.
His proteges having become Batman.
Yep.
Rogue #1 gets the second printing. We still have #2, so we got Rogue 1 and 2.
Yep.
That's a series I'm liking, and she is solving a kind of a strange mystery related to her
She's
past.
solving Southern mysteries, sugar.
You know how it is.
Fighting giant possums.
It's possum time.
And then we probably will be out of this by the time you hear it, but Dork, half dwarf, half orc,
Yep.
gets a second printing. We did not know when we were the second printing that was going to fly out of here that fast.
Yep.
So we only have a handful of copies. There is a thank you variant, which will almost certainly be gone by the time you get here, but if you really want it, you have to be here early.
You have to fight people for
You have to fight people for it. We have already ordered the third printing. We have more of
That
those
is
coming.
where we will really have enough.
I do recommend
really
this
get
series. The first issue was a ton of fun, and I'm curious to see where it goes.
It's got great art from Brett Bean.
Yeah, we recommend you actually read it and don't just buy it to flip or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah, don't do that.
Image First, the dollar issue samplers of various image books. We've got Bitter Root, Chew, Feral, the original Darkness, and the original Witchblade.
Right.
Yeah, so a wide swath of Image First issues. These dollar issues are just like a great way to check something out.
Yeah, for sure. The Darkness is actually Garth Ennis and Mark Silvestri.
Yeah.
I forgot that Ennis wrote that.
I forgot that too.
It's like a weird crime horror book.
Yeah, I don't know that I've ever actually read it. I will maybe sit down and give that one a read. I'm curious.
There's plenty of other stuff on the shelf that is not jumping on points. Absolute Superman #17 is the second of 2 parts of a story pitting Absolute Superman sort of in a alliance of sorts with the Hawkman that we know killed Oliver Queen.
Yep, in the Absolute Universe.
He's sort of working for the bad guys, but he is not a full-on bad guy. He and Superman are working together against
definitely thinks Superman is a naive fool, but he's kind of like trying to win him over, and they have an interesting. I'm not even going to say they're frenemies. They're not. It's not the friend part isn't really in there yet. But they aren't just straight up fighting either. There's an consistently interesting interactions between them.
They are battling against a absolute version of one of Superman's big foes. This is done really interestingly.
Yes.
And Superman gets to be very Superman in this, which I liked.
He does.
Absolute Flash is the culmination of the first story arc, where Absolute Flash is fighting a oversized, dangerous, Speed Force powered Thawne, who is like a big brute who, when he runs, destroys things.
Oh.
And he's trying to figure out how to stop him. The Rogues are trying to help him.
I want to destroy things when I run.
It's a really fun... They also have a twist on Grodd that I wasn't seeing.
Okay.
And I should have seen it coming, but it's really well done. I've really, really come around on Absolute Flash. I was thinking it was one of the weaker ones, and now it's one of my favorite ones to read.
Oh, very cool.
Sometimes Jeff Lemire be a slow burn guy.
And who else? The artist Robles. Is it Samuel Robles?
Nick Robles?
It is Nick Robles.
Yeah.
Is a really good artist. Like it a lot. Batman Green Arrow, The Question Arcadia, number 3 this week. Really liking this Black Label book that is a throwback to 90s Green Arrow and Question. They're in Alaska, I think. Or is it Antarctica?
I know it's Black Label, and I'd kind of forgotten, and some character just screams out the F-bomb at some point in it. Yeah. And I was like, oh, right.
So these 3 characters are dealing with some kind of evil military organization that's kidnapping people, and it's a really good story, especially if you like Green Arrow and the classic.
It has that kind of like... It's almost like the superhero version of something like Reacher or something like that.
Yeah,
like it's a little sort of street level, and there's a mystery that's pretty intriguing.
Agreed.
But like it is bigger than Reacher though.
Yeah.
And it's cool. Like Question and Batman and Green Arrow are 3 cool people to see working together.
That's a good comparison though, because Reacher can get pretty big.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like that. Amazing Spider-Man number 23 is part 2 of 9 of the Death Spiral story. This is we're seeing Peter deal with some of the after effects of his story. Venom and Peter have a heart-to-heart. There's a classic Spidey villain, and Torment is lurking in the background.
Yep.
We don't know the deal exactly with Torment.
We don't.
Right?
Not
The
yet.
scary new serial killer.
Yep.
Good design.
Yeah, good
it's
design.
A creepy design.
He has the sort of spirally look that Donny Cates and Jeff Shaw introduced.
Right. Yep.
Avengers 36 wraps up McKay's run and wraps up this run of the Avengers. Closing everything out for Chip Zdarsky to start over with Weapons of Armageddon.
Oh, yeah. Fingers crossed for Chip.
It is the McKay Tuesday because in addition to Avengers, he already had something else we talked about.
No.
And X-Men, but there's something else too. I thought there was a third McKay
I
book.
forgot about it.
Oh, it's right here. It's Nova Centurion.
Oh, right. Oh,
So
man, I
there
need to
are
read that
3
this week.
there are 3 McKay books.
I've been really regularly enjoying Nova. I'm sure I'll like this issue too.
X-Men starts a new story called Danger Room. So it is a new jumping on point. If
Does
you
it have
want to jump
anything
on
to do
X-Men.
with Danger, the sentient version of the Danger Room?
No, not
Nope.
yet.
No, it's something very different.
What if Danger was like, I want you all to go back inside me and have hijinks?
That'd be weird. But a line like that does happen to Amazing Spider-Man this week.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Nova Centurion, another Jed McKay. He's doing sort of his space adventure book. This has Nova meeting up with Richard Rider. Meeting up with Peter Quill, his old buddy.
Right.
And
right.
they are not friends so much anymore.
Yeah, that's a status quo that I overall don't like, but
Yeah.
I am interested to see how Jed McKay does it, because
Yeah.
maybe he can make me tolerate it or find what's interesting about it.
It's funny. He's doing sort of big cosmic-y stuff, which I'm not always a fan of, but I kind of like what he's doing here.
I have liked every issue of that series.
Yeah.
I'm pretty on board it.
Yeah. New issue of The Twilight Zone, which wraps up the first story arc of that one. This is Francesco Francavilla on art. And I believe the penultimate issue of the Casey Jones spinoff from TMNT. Anything else single issue-wise that I missed?
Not for me.
Well,
Okay.
we mentioned the smaller reprints, but we didn't mention the
You're right. We didn't
large
talk about
absolute.
the big reprints.
So we are getting issues 1 through 15 of Batman.
Absolute Batman.
But we also still have 14 through 17.
Right. So-
and the Arkham Special.
So we have the entire run of Absolute Batman.
everything but the annual. So if
Okay.
you want to pick up all the single issues of Absolute Batman, that is available.
You will have a window of maybe
about a
hours.
day.
it could last for several days.
We'll see.
But we have that.
Yep.
We have Absolute Wonder Woman.
Number 1 through 11.
Yep.
Plus, we do have the most recent 2 issues and the annual. So there's a couple gaps in there, but they'll reprint those as well.
And then we got Absolute Superman.
Yep, Absolute Superman number 1 through 10, and we have the last couple of issues of that as well.
Now we have put these in their own section, taking over the facsimile section.
Yeah,
for
the
a little
facsimiles
bit.
got compressed down to a box
Yep.
and one shelf.
So when you come in, if you have any questions, just ask and we'll point it to you. But yeah, it's that spot just a little bit past where the new comics are. You will see all the Absolute reprints.
Yep. So this is a huge reprint. We haven't seen anybody do anything like this before.
No.
The Absolutes are definitely breaking all the rules.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're a single issue person, and you want to get them,
Now's the time.
if you're a collections person, Absolute Superman Volume 2 comes out this week.
That's true.
Softcover and hardcover.
Mm-hmm.
We got Feral Volume 4 in trade this week. Lobo Back to Back, which is the original Keith Giffen miniseries.
This is good.
They're fun.
It's a fun book.
Yep. And then
This is the raucous Lobo.
Yes.
It's kind of
Yep.
slightly pushing the limits of ratings and stuff at the time.
For
and,
sure.
Yeah.
And then we got the Nightwing Leaping into Light. That's the first, I think, 10 issues of Tom Taylor and Bruno Redondo's in a compact edition.
Form, yeah.
So $10 for one of the best Nightwing stories ever done. And that's it for comics. There are other graphic novels and stuff. We don't always talk about everything, but it's a big week for comics, y'all.
It's a big week.
And as always on our Facebook, I've been trying to post every week like what comics are coming out, some highlights. You can always find our listing by going to our website and seeing what's available. You're welcome to email us and ask us for stuff. We can put it aside for you if you don't have a file. We are also sending out emails every week for files. If you have a subscription with us, you should be getting an email on Tuesday night that says, here's what's in your file.
Yep. It's a new function we found.
We're
utilizing it.
Seems to be working.
Yep.
All right. Let's take a break, and then we'll come back and talk about some trailers.
Good trailers?
Okay, so we're talking about the new trailer for Mortal Kombat 2, which we already talked about the teaser. I think we're all surprisingly on board, given that the last Mortal Kombat movie was pretty terrible.
Yes, it was boring.
Would you say worse than Mortal Kombat 2, the original one?
No. So I found it had watchable moments.
Well, it hung its hat on a brand new character that was boring as shit.
Yes,
And
that was the problem.
And that was the huge
I've
problem.
already forgotten it. Wasn't it also sort of Sub-Zero-y or Scorpion-y?
It was Scorpion, how he became Scorpion and his feud with Sub-Zero.
Like that
and
that opening was pretty good.
Yeah, it was fine. Well, especially when you have that actor that I can't think of his name, but he's in every kind of Japanese samurai.
Is it Mark DeCosca or something like that?
No, it was actually.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he's in this trailer. He plays Scorpion again. But yeah, I just kind of I was bored by it.
I was also bored. I did not.
The
finish
teaser trailer for this Mortal Kombat was a ton of fun.
This, by the way, even though this is, what is it called? Mortal Kombat 2?
Called Mortal Kombat 2.
Oh, okay. That's interesting because the game has a tradition. The series was as video games in the arcades was big with Mortal Kombat, but I feel like Mortal Kombat 2 was where it broke out.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And this does seem to be like a stealth sort of reboot. I don't know how much they're going to care about what happened in that previous movie.
Well, I mean, I don't think you have to have seen the previous movie.
Exactly.
If they killed that
they were
character
setting
off in the first 5 minutes, I'd be.
He's
yes.
not anywhere to be found.
Yeah.
So
I'm hoping.
the thing they did that was smart. First of all, they're having a Mortal Kombat tournament in the Mortal Kombat movie, which is a good idea.
That is a great idea.
That's something that's probably a good idea to
Go
have.
ahead and do it, yeah.
And also, they hang it on Carl Urban playing Johnny Cage. Carl Urban is kind of a secret weapon in anything.
Yeah,
he's Bones in the Abrams Trek. He was Judge Dredd. He's in The Boys as Butcher.
Yep.
Basically, when you put him in a geek project, he's great. I can't think of anywhere he hasn't been great. So he looks like he's going to be fun. And having him be sort of the reluctant hero who doesn't even want a part of all this, fun idea.
Yeah.
There's a lot of nods to the fans with some Baraka to the guy with the hat whose name I don't remember.
Kung Lao.
What's his name?
Kung Lao.
Kung Lao. I used to play that guy because he had a fun throwing blade hat.
I like
we
to
also got
play
Katana.
Jax.
Jax
who's in
is in
this.
We see Jax.
But I also did like the Inhuman Baraka.
Yes. Same.
And in the he was in the previous trailer too, and they showed him firing off those projectiles from his hands, his little arm spikes things.
Yep.
And and I think the previous trailer they showed him maybe somebody blocking those or something. And I think in this one you see him do a cool flip.
But we also see
flip.
Liu Kang, Shang Tsung, Shao Kahn.
Yep.
It definitely feels like they're okay, let's get to the meat of this story, which is just them fighting.
Yep.
Which it looks fun. I hope there's a little bit more entertaining story to it.
What they did that was clever about the original one from the 90s was they showed the gathering of the people. They all had kind of ridiculous over the top stories, and it was a lot to juggle. But honestly, done pretty well. There was about sort of 4 leads in the original one, and a few ancillary side characters, and 1 or 2 villains to kind of work out. And what if that no name character from the previous Mortal Kombat movie? That's to show how bad Goro is, or one of the other bad guys.
If he gets ripped apart, brutality.
His life will have been worth something.
Fatality, brutality.
To me, there was a slight downside to this one in that I felt like some of the backgrounds and stuff, they looked very video game cutscene-y.
Yeah.
And I know this makes sense. It's from a video game, but it's one of those cases where I kind of like that maybe the original one was grounded in just more practical effects because that was just the era when that was what they had.
It sounds weird for me to want a Mortal Kombat that's a little on the lighter side, but if you get too focused on kind of like
the gore fest,
the gore, and also the kind of trying to make it serious,
right?
I'm like, that's why the original Mortal Kombat kind of excelled. It was kind of hokey.
Right. I agree. And the thing that all of these take their inspiration from is, I think the first one that I know of, at least, is Enter the Dragon, the Bruce Lee movie, where there's an island.
I've never seen it. Have you seen it?
I've seen it. It's very fun.
Yeah.
You know what? The soundtrack is like by... Shit. It's not the guy who did Rocky... is it Lalo? It's Lalo Schifrin, I think, the guy who did like those jazzy scores and the Mission Impossible theme and stuff.
Oh, okay.
I think it's him, and so it's got this like jazzy funk theme. Like it's like there's like wah wah pedals and music and stuff, and there's 3 leads in it. There's like Bruce Lee, some white dude, and some black guy. And they're 3 fun, memorable characters. There is some lightness to the movie. When they get to the island, at first they're like sort of treated well. They're like, "Oh, you'll be staying here. We will provide you female, entertainment if you wish," and all this. And then like they find out like, "Oh, he's training people to be like his super killers on this island, and you could die in these tournaments." And I think Bruce Lee is like undercover for like this, either like the CIA or MI6.
MI6. I think that's where Shang-Chi came from.
Yeah. And, like, it is just, like, a fun, over-the-top movie. And I do think that all of these Mortal Kombats and Street Fighter things are best when they embrace a bit of goof.
And, I'm not actually going to do the movie challenge I said I was going to do because March turns out to be kind of a busy month.
Yeah.
But I think whenever I get back into watch some movies, I definitely need to watch Enter the Dragon. I think that needs to go on my wish list. So, Dave, you are correct. It is Lalo Schifrin.
Yeah.
Which, not a name I would easily be able to call up. But... He does the music for Dirty Harry, Bullet, Cool Hand Luke.
That makes sense. Dirty Harry's kind of weird.
Kelly's Heroes.
You know what people would know him from in semi-modern times is all the music they did in those character trailers for Team Fortress 2. Meet the Heavy.
Yeah.
That was all music from like Dirty Harry and some of his other stuff. That jazzy music, that was him.
Oh,
they didn't re-orchestrate it, they just used it.
He was nominated 6 times for Oscars, including Voyage of the Damned, The Amityville Horror, and The Sting 2.
Oh, interesting. He's like super good.
Mission Impossible, yeah, that's cool. He's an Argentine American.
Oh, interesting.
So
if we respected other cultures, that would be especially cool.
Yeah, what would that be like?
Well, we're going to respect them. The rest of the world can fuck off.
Exactly. True. All right, let's move on to topics. We have a few things. Movies we've been meaning to talk about, some TV shows.
Yeah.
A book of all things.
I know. It's crazy.
Do you know we read books? We read books.
we do read books.
Now,
you're going to learn something.
Some of those books are Dungeon Crawler Carl.
Yeah. Lots of that.
Yeah. And this one is a Dungeon Crawler Carl related.
True.
We'll get to that. But let's talk first about Predator Badlands, which I saw in the theater.
Yes.
Dave watched last week. Nick watched this week.
It's true.
Yes.
So we're coming at it from different memory times.
Right. You might have heard us talk about it before, but never all 3 at once.
I think this is my 3rd favorite of the Predator movies.
What's your 2nd favorite?
Predator 2.
I do like Predator 2.
What?
I do.
Some people like Predator 2.
So you rank Predator 2 above Badlands?
I do. I think it's just from
Badlands,
Dave, you want to talk about Predator Badlands?
From a
Badlands
nostalgia
has some
point of
goofy
view.
stuff in it too, but I think we are all going to tell you this is a fun movie that, even though it's kind of very crowd pleasery, also isn't quite what it looked like from the trailers, and it is a fun ride.
I think it's crowd pleasing, but it's also smart.
Right. I got to go back one more thing. Sorry.
Go for it.
I'm not going to harp on this.
No.
Where does Prey sit in there?
I think it ties for 3rd with Predator Badlands.
Okay. Prey, because I want to Prey is by the same director and writer, Dan Trachtenberg.
Nick's not being a madman.
No.
Okay.
I think nostalgia seeps into it a little bit because I did like the idea of kind of setting a little bit of the future. I love Danny Glover as kind of the protagonist.
I also like the idea, and I enjoyed it when I saw it the first time, but have you rewatched Predator 2?
It's been a little time. I don't know if it'll hold up, but
you might rewatch it, and I think you might change.
Are you saying the Gary Busey of it all is a little bit too much?
It doesn't help.
So people watch the trailers for Predator Badlands but haven't seen it.
Yeah.
May remember that it looked like there's this like and this part is true. There's this kind of like alien death planet, a young predator kind of untried. Who's going after the biggest sort of monster there, and he's like, think T-Rex.
Basically a kaiju.
Yeah, like a kaiju type level thing that he's like seriously outmatched. And it looked like from the trailer he ended up working with a damaged synth played by Elle Fanning.
Yep.
That we know belonged to the Weyland-Yutani Corporation, thus formally merging the Aliens and Predator universes in this story.
This is the first time that's happened in a Predator movie, right? It's happened in Alien Predators.
AVP, I think,
had Weyland-Yutani.
Yes.
But like, I think they kind of... It wasn't, like, locked in, I think.
Usually, if there are no xenomorphs in the movie, there's no Weyland-Yutani.
Correct.
Right.
This is the first time we've
Just
seen
the
Weyland-Yutani
corporation,
outside
But
of
we do,
xenomorphs.
but in kind of ancillary properties, we do know that the Weyland-Yutani Corp goes after other aliens.
We do,
not
yes,
just
because of
xenomorphs.
Alien
It's
Earth.
true.
Yes.
Yeah,
So where, and I don't want to spoil just every single thing in here.
Right.
But like, here's something I didn't quite, even from the trailer, know. I was like, I thought the perspective might be from the synth or something. This perspective is from the young Predator from second one of the movie.
Yeah.
And what you see is, in an interesting opening sequence, is that he is very close with and practice fighting with his brother.
Yep.
His older brother.
But he is a skilled fighter by our standards, he is the runt of the litter by Predator standards.
Right. And his father is essentially an abusive dad.
And he's like the Predator King, right?
He
Or
is.
something like that?
He is
Or like their tribal...
their clan.
Yeah.
Their clan, yeah, he's
Kind
like
of
their
their
clan
yeah.
leader. And
He's like Cole the weakest.
So this is like the weak prince, basically,
Yep.
is what he is.
And it is clear that he is going to kill our Predator
Yep.
guy. By the way, Randy, they did use their formal
The
name,
Yautja.
the Yautja, and
Yautja.
if you hear it enough, and in a pretty good movie, it's okay.
I hate it less now.
I hate it less. Yeah. So what happens is his brother manages to protect him.
Yep.
But he's got his honor to restore.
Yep.
And there's a sort of the kind of abusive dad and the brother story kind of hangs over everything, and I think is thematically strong.
You know what's interesting? This is a story I've been wanting since the very first Predator, and especially the second. I've been wanting to see more about the Yautja culture.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they've done some in the comics, but almost always the Predators are presented as the villains of the piece.
True.
This is
Right.
the first one where the Predator is the protagonist,
Yep.
and there's a lot of story about family and found family.
Yeah.
From the android and the relationship they have to the thing they're hunting, even.
Yes. There were some surprises that I don't want to quite give away everything.
No. But
he does he lands on this planet, but it's like a crash landing. He doesn't have all of his resources.
Yep.
The planet is literally
I mean, his resources
vines-
immediately get taken away by the planet.
Yeah.
Right.
Very quickly.
right, and every piece of this the vines will kill you.
Yep.
There's not every bit of grass on it, but there's big swaths of grass that are essentially almost like blade-like
Blades,
grass.
yeah.
The biology of
You would if you just leapt into it, you die. You
the
just get
biology of
shredded.
the planet I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
It's very fun. It's a little bit kind of like B sci-fi movie idea
Sure.
instead of serious
Death
sci-fi,
Planet.
but this is Predator.
But
It's not
amped up
like-
with good special effects because I
Yeah,
thought
it's
true.
I thought there were a lot of really
it's
cool
true,
stuff.
and what's kind of neat is that you'll see him fighting to survive it, and then you will kind of see him start to get some ideas about how he can use it.
Well, it's not until he kind of finds Elle Fanning's half.
Yep.
Yeah.
I really liked her character.
I did too. I thought she was great.
Well,
And
she
at
plays
first,
this
I
kid-
had the same reaction. Randy, when she first meets him, you don't see much of her in the trailer.
Yeah.
And she starts talking, and she's kind of bubbly.
yeah.
You know that part in Fifth Element where Ruby Rod comes on the TV?
Yeah, and you're like, oh no.
And they show his cat.
Yeah.
And his cat is like, what? That's how I felt when she started talking. I was
Yeah.
like, uh-oh.
Well,
Yeah.
she's like,
But then,
She's great.
but she's this bubbly kind of talks a mile a minute because she's so enamored with everything.
she's kind of likes to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's it's almost like Weyland-Yutani had a synth that they're well,
kind of grew outside the parameters.
we're outside
of,
the parameters, and they're well, probably she's still useful. She gets a lot of information with her kind of giddiness, but and so they can tolerate her, being enthusiastic.
But I like
and,
that,
and not mercenary like they are.
But I like that our main predator comes to the conclusion of pairing with her because he can use her as a tool, not
Right.
as. She is
He
not on his
literally
plane
calls her that repeatedly.
because he has to hunt alone. That's all.
Right, he's like,
known.
I can't have somebody helping me, but I'll use a tool in front
Yeah,
of me.
yeah.
And that sounds harsh, but that is the arc of this story.
I really like how they walk a pretty important balance between him being a
An asshole, macho asshole guy.
a macho asshole, and yet also like sensitive for a predator. Like,
Yeah,
right.
that is because you know that the fans were all rating to be like, soy boy predator or whatever.
Right.
And he is very much a badass predator, but he is also someone facing a lot of challenges.
Right.
And I thought that was down to Trachtenberg's writing and the way it's done, and I really enjoyed that.
I have a question that I actually don't know about the special effects. I think that, like, they used guy in suit with maybe digital stuff for some of the facial
I
movements.
believe that
that
is the
is
case,
true.
yes.
But with, like, I think some of it was also like a sort of a mask he was wearing that maybe with some practical special effects. But maybe not. Maybe it was all green screened on
No,
after.
I
No, I'm
think it
pretty
was
sure there's a lot of
probably there
practical.
was practical, and then they digitally enhanced it.
It's
if I
a
had to
good
guess.
balance because he feels real.
He does.
And I'm like, I need the Predator to feel real and not feel like an Avatar person. Which I
Agreed.
guess I would compare this as like a cooler Avatar.
yeah.
I also was really appreciative
By the
of.
way, there are a few other characters in it that kind of add on to the group, but I don't want
Yeah.
to say
Yeah, I
who
don't
they
want
are.
to say,
yeah, for sure.
But I will say that I was pleasantly surprised with how they weaved the Whale and Yutani group into the
Yeah.
overall
Yeah.
story.
They
Agreed.
have their own little backstory with her and like a connection to one of them.
Yeah.
And
It was
and,
something I was not expecting. Mm-hmm. And
And like honestly, the other Wayland, the Yutani like synth commandos and stuff, they're kind of cool.
They are.
They're as villains go, they're pretty badass.
yeah.
but I was pleasantly surprised with this one.
Lots of good
Same.
sequences
Yep.
in it. Without saying too much, you know the part where our lead predator is like infiltrating their encampment.
Yeah.
And there's a certain thing distracting them.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he's just like, anytime they see this distraction, they're like, "What the fuck is that?" And he like pops up and kills the shit out
Yeah,
of them.
yeah.
Like that was a great infiltration
yeah,
sequence.
it's great.
And there's like a bunch of good little twists and turns at the end.
This makes me want to watch the. I know it's
The animated one?
The animated
King of
one.
Killer of Killers?
yeah, which I know is relatively like almost silent.
It's got it's a lot less about, I mean, it's all about the predators, but it's a lot less insight into them.
Yeah.
But I liked it okay.
Yeah.
I think having now seen Badlands, I kind of like to go back and watch it again. Because there's also Trachtenberg.
This is one of those things where it's like we should be out of ideas for Predator. But
I mean, they
keep
were
doing
for a
them.
long time, and they found one.
And I'm like, Trachtenberg has revitalized it.
I actually will trust Trachtenberg. Given this and Cloverfield Lane, I basically will follow him to whatever he does. He's got a pretty blank check for me
And-
at this
and if
point.
he-
A person
want-
who takes like some sort of genre ideas that could be just solid,
Yeah.
and he like uplifts them.
Yeah,
Have we
for sure.
heard that they're going to continue? Because they obviously can by the end of this.
I don't know. I mean, it did pretty well, I think.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Night of the Seven Kingdoms, which again we've all been watching at different paces.
Yep.
Nick
we're-
caught up.
I caught up this weekend.
Together, we're on the same page.
So there will be spoilers here. You know, this is a 6-episode show,
Right?
half-hour episodes, right? Or
Most
do they get
of
a
them.
little?
The
There's
last
one
two
that's-
were like 40 or 50
Yeah,
minutes.
But I mean, a surprisingly short show.
Yeah.
That does a lot of work in the time it has.
It does.
Yep.
It's also, I don't want to say lighter, but it is definitely
It
kind
is
of a
lighter,
lighter
though.
fare than Game of Thrones
It's
or
not as
House
heavy as Game of
Dragon.
Thrones.
it's
it is
kind
heavy,
of
but
fun sometimes.
Yeah.
It is a little bit more like the times in Game of Thrones when you're like seeing, you know, like who was Tyrion and who was his mercenary buddy?
it's not the Hound.
No.
But y'all know who I mean.
Yes.
Yeah.
That guy who was like a fun to watch character
Yes.
with Tyrion.
Yep.
Yep.
That kind of energy is in this. Like, yeah, there's serious stuff going on in the background, and every once in a while, some actually very dark Game of Thronesy turns. But like the overall energy is kind of more fun. I think we've talked about it in the past. There is like the kickoff premise, if you don't know, is very similar to A Knight's Tale.
Yep.
It's somebody trying to sort of con their way into knighthood. His knightly, he's a squire. His knightly master dies of kind of old age and maybe sickness, and he bullshits that the guy knighted him and is like, "Can I get into this tournament?" And finds himself immediately running up against obstacles, but like also some interesting things. Like the guy who's like he's trying to enroll in the tournament with, at first is all like, "Are you trying to like fake your way in?" Because he's like, "We've got punishments for people like that," and and then he starts laughing about it, and
like,
he's
just bullshit.
He's like, "Yeah," he kind of doesn't care, but like,
But
But
Dunk
there-
cares.
but yes. So Sir Duncan is the guy there, or Duncan. They sometimes just call him Dunk.
Or Dunk the Tall.
Sir Duncan the Tall, and he's like a very good-hearted and sincere person who's also a little slow
Yeah.
at times.
Yeah.
But he kind of
But not
takes
like-
the idea of what it means to be a knight to heart.
Right.
Yeah.
He
In
is-
a way that a lot of other people don't.
The book series were called like the Hedge Knight series,
Yep.
and a Hedge Knight is like a traveling knight. You're not like
Yep.
sworn to any immediate like
House.
lord or house.
Yeah.
and it's kind of like you go around doing good deeds, but they're also kind of in some knightly circles looked down on because there's like, oh, that's like the riffraff knights. You know,
Right.
that's like vagabonds. They're basically a homeless knight.
Yeah.
But like that's also kind of his strength. He there's a really cool scene where he like sleeps outside under the trees and stuff. He's got a camp almost
That's his
every night.
home.
And so he will end up allied with a young boy who has a secret,
runs across on.
which he is a royalty, and he is like run off, and he's still very young. He's like 10 or something like that.
Yeah.
But he like, it's interesting because he's quite clever. But he comes from a family who's all Game of Thrones machinations and stuff, and so he sees in Dunk a sort of foster father figure, and is what knight should be, and so he wants to travel with him, and he kind of contrives it so that they do end up traveling together. So they're outside camping at some point, and they see like a shooting star, and he's like, it's good luck for us. It's good luck for anyone who sees it. And then the kid points out. He's like, everybody else is in their, like, feasting halls and tents, nice tents and stuff like that. He's like, only we saw that. He's like, so only we get the luck. And it's as a sort of thematic about what his Hedge Knight sort of story means. He is outside the normal boundaries of it, and that's what gets him into trouble.
Yep.
I think this is an excellent show.
I agree.
It was super strong all the way through. I thought, even with the smaller run times for their episodes, they did a
was
lot
brisk.
with it.
Yeah.
It's like it showed that Game of Thrones didn't have to be kind of epic.
It doesn't have to be big and weighty. I mean, weighty stuff happens to him, and the things that affect like kingdoms, like a royal figure is killed.
Well, and also,
Right.
we're not... This is the same Game of Thrones. We are dealing with Baratheons and Targaryens.
In fact,
and-
the sort of inciting incident, just to say it real quick, is there's this pretty young woman who does like a puppet show as part of this team doing puppet shows.
Yep.
And he's kind of taken by her prettiness and enamored of her. And he and Egg, that's the nickname of the squire, the young kid, they're watching it. And this dramatizes in the puppet show like somebody fighting and slaying a dragon, kind of classic knights and daring do. Well, as y'all know from watching this, the Targaryens, right?
Yep, Targaryens, yep.
That's their
Always
symbol of their
assholes.
house. And so they see this dragon being killed, even though it's in basically a play. And they're like, the dragon should never lose.
It's a slight upon their house.
It's a slight upon them.
Yep.
They see it
And
as
so
they see it as a
asshole prince.
political slander. Yeah, this guy is kind of like a somewhat older Joffrey, type.
Yeah.
And he starts breaking this woman's fingers.
Yep.
And Duncan whoops up on him.
Yep.
He's a big dude. He's
Yep.
a big guy,
Yep.
and so
Because
he
a knight protects the weak.
right.
But unfortunately,
you do not attack a member, like a lord and stuff like that, unless you want to have your hand cut off. It's
true.
And suddenly he's invoking the right of trial
by combat.
which then the clever and messed up prince is who's I might not be able to stand up against this big bruiser.
Yep.
Even though he's not Duncan is not a master fighter. He's just big.
Right.
And this Targaryen is trained. I mean,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
not a bad fighter.
Right.
He
But
doesn't,
he doesn't wanna risk it.
Is it the trial of the 7 or the 7?
Trial of the Seven.
So it's the 7
It's a
gods
thing-
or whatever.
Oh yeah, it's a thing. It's that hasn't been invoked for hundreds of years, but it's an old law in the books. Imagine if we had a leader who dug up shit from rules hundreds of years ago to his own advantage.
What crazy?
Yeah. And anyway, and it's a thing where you have to assemble a team essentially of yourself and 6 other knights to back you, and they have a trial by combat 7-on-7. And if you can't even assemble it, then you essentially forfeit the truth. You're considered to be
The gods have shown that you are the not true.
right, and he'd
so he
probably
has-
get his
yeah.
hands cut off and stuff.
So he has to find a group of 6 people to fight alongside him. He doesn't know that many people.
Right.
Doesn't have that many allies.
But he has run across a couple of people
And so
during
they,
this.
they
and
put
he's
that. So they put that together, which is fun. You get to see a bunch of different characters, sort of stand by him.
Yep. And he meets some kind of cool, weird people, including a few. He stumbles across a few people in high places that end up liking him.
And then there's also a really big the big battle is the last couple episodes,
Right.
which is really good and gritty and dark, and
it's kind of what you would expect battle to be. Very frenetic, very kind of.
But it's almost like for a jousting tournament where that also includes people when you're unseated from your horse, you keep fighting. You draw a weapon, whether it's a sword or a mace or whatever. It's almost like the feel of the opening of Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
It's like D-Day, but for jousting.
Yep.
And
Which sounds kind of comical, but it's not. It's dark.
It's brutal at that point, and they've built up all the episodes to it with little glimpses of the jousts and stuff, including like a horrific thing somebody does in I think the first or second episode.
Yeah. I will say this: a lot of it hinges on our main character's acting abilities.
Yeah, I think
he does a great job of kind of portraying this
walking that line between
simple, but
a little bit simple, but like he's not stupid.
No,
but he is a little simple, but he's also good-hearted. There's a kind of iconic scene, I think, as far as like how he can kind of turn people around early on, where there's a couple of prostitutes around this camp who are making fun of him. Yep. You mentioned this, Randy, when we were first talking about it. And he's like, very sincerely, he's like, why are you making fun of me? He's like, I'm just trying to figure things out. I'm just trying to help. And they are like, after a minute, they're sort of taken aback, and they're like, oh, yeah, sorry. I think they're used to kind of all the louts, everybody else being kind of bullshitter. Yeah. And so when they see that he's sincere, they apologize. And that sort of energy does pervade the show. His goodness kind of rubs off on people. And it's nice to see that in a Game of Thrones show.
Yeah.
And by the way, Game of Thrones is still a great setting.
Yeah, sure.
And they do let you see some of that darker side of things, honestly, especially in the last 2 episodes.
I had sort of gone off Game of Thrones after the ending and that kind of thing. I didn't hate it as much as everybody else did, but I definitely
quite
gone
get
off
into
it.
the
And
other...
I couldn't quite get into House of the Dragon as a result. And so I wasn't even sure about this one, even though I like the graphic novels.
Yeah.
This I liked so much that I bought the books to read. And it actually makes me want to go back and watch House of the Dragon and even rewatch what I liked about Game of Thrones. It dragged me back into Westeros.
Yeah.
Well, House of the Dragon is... I had a hard time plugging into it, but once I did, I got over kind of the salaciousness of it.
I heard that from some people, yeah.
And that there is a good story done well by great performances.
Yes, yeah. It's one of those things where I when I need something to watch, I may at some point go and watch it.
It's worth it.
So because we're all going to recommend this show.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
100%.
Yeah.
And it's a short buy-in.
Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing. It's like, what is it, like, it's 6 episodes, 30 minutes, it's like 4 hours.
It's ideal for me. I was able to watch both that and Wonder Man, these nice brisk shows.
Yep.
And I'm in the middle of Wonder Man. I've watched a couple more episodes, but I haven't
We'll come around maybe
it.
next week.
But I've really liked what I've watched so far.
How would you rank it against Predator 2?
That's our question for everything from now on.
Oh, man. I may have stepped into that.
So, I was looking for something else to watch, just because I had plenty to watch, but
Right.
some friends had mentioned Paradise.
Yes.
You had talked about it.
Yeah.
One of my friends, Morgan, had talked about it. And I knew it was Sterling K. Brown, who I like. Where do I know him from?
I mean,
This Is Us, obviously.
that was like a big breakout
But I feel
for
like
him.
there was something else that he...
But he played in Black Panther. He was King T'Chaka's brother.
Right. He was the brother. Yeah.
He has been in other things I know, but I can't say off the top of my head.
He's in Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Oh yeah. He was the manager.
I never watched Mrs. Maisel, so he is a very talented actor, very charismatic.
Yep.
He is a good person to rest a show on their shoulders.
I just saw it mentioned the OJ versus LA or whatever that thing was.
Right.
Was he OJ? Did he play OJ in that? Or no, he played the Johnny Cochran.
Johnny Cochran. I know I watched that, but I can't remember.
He was in Alias. Who was he in Alias?
I don't remember.
They're just mentioning a bunch of shows he did. NYPD Blue, Boston Legal, Supernatural. So
he's been around for a while.
Oh, he was the hunter from the first season of the Supernatural that they've run across with vampires.
Oh yeah,
I forgot about that.
Oh man, I forgot that was him too.
That was a good little story arc for that character.
It was. Anyway, I really like him as an actor.
Yeah.
He's in the episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine where they riffed on the Box episode.
Oh,
he's the guy they're trying to catch.
That's right.
Yeah, he's fantastic, and so I like him, and I was like, oh, let's see what this is like, and I knew that it was he's like a Secret Service agent,
correct,
who's protecting the president, played by James Marsden.
Yep.
Marsden's like a plain-spoken but progressive guy.
but a little bit disenfranchised. He's kind of like
his dad's an oil man. We'll come to find out, and he was basically he's a little George Bushy.
I was gonna say there's definitely
he's like a progressive George Bush.
Yes,
a little bit dumb, a little bit plain spoken.
I think that's the front that he puts on.
So yeah, so the first episode, and I knew from going in that this is post-apocalyptic. So spoilers,
right?
This is not
Shit
what it
happens.
first appeals to be like.
Correct.
But they want you to not know, because even if you look Hulu, the description is a Secret Service agent protects the president.
Yeah.
Like, they don't want to let you know anything about what it's about, because the end of the pilot is the big twist.
Yeah,
Which I'm giving away.
correct.
So if you're gonna watch this, scoot ahead a little bit. But so he finds the president murdered in the residence.
Yep.
And he starts looking into what's going on, and we slowly find out that they in fact are in an underground bunker underneath Colorado, but this bunker is so huge that it basically looks like a city.
Yeah, they've basically replicated a small,
basically small town in America. Yeah.
Yes,
like a Washington D.C. type area. It's not like Smallville, Kansas.
No.
It's more like Washington D.C.
Right.
And that basically something happened in the world and that the world is gone.
Correct.
And this is the last bastion of humanity. And he was the president over this corporation, this area that is run by like a cabal of billionaires.
Yep.
Including a woman whose code name is Sinatra.
Yep.
Who was maybe the person who saw it coming. And it starts over the course of 8 episodes, 10 episodes.
I think somewhere in there. I can't remember for sure.
We start to see it was 8 episodes. We start to see that the conspiracy around how the president got killed. We see flashbacks to before whatever happened and how they got there. We see more of the characters. It's a lot of characters. This is done by Dan Fogelberg, who did This Is Us.
Right.
And once you know that, this show, the way it's presented, makes sense because it is a sci-fi premise, but it plays almost more like a drama.
Yep.
Because it's about sort of like Sinatra lost one of her kids to a disease.
Right.
And it sort of put her on, and then she goes to this conference, and she sees this guy who's a total buzzkill scientist who's basically saying, hey, the world's going to end in 10 years, so nothing you can do about it.
The end is nigh.
Best thing you can do is dig a hole and get in it, which is what leads to them building the city.
Yep.
And throughout the course of this, you'll see there's the who was behind the death of the president, who benefited from it, what exactly happened with this guy and his wife who didn't make it, but he's got his kids, but his wife didn't make it in, and is there in fact life outside? And it's a really good slow burn. When they get to episode, I think
grim.
It's a little grim,
but it's not so grim that you're like kind of turned off.
It's humanistic. This Is Us was also, it was dark. People would die.
Yeah.
But it was also about like the strength of the human spirit.
I'm intrigued by this. Do you think I would like it, Randy?
I think you would.
Okay.
You liked Lost,
Yeah.
which is very much about like strong character writing in the midst of a sci-fi premise.
Yeah.
And this is that.
I found This Is Us kind of cloying and sappy.
Same. I went off This Is Us.
And this one, I feels like it's very character-centric.
Yes.
And kind of just, the story is good. It's compelling.
Now, there are some clunky bits of writing.
Right.
I will say, I think there is some over-the-top writing, a little bit of the like melodrama, and as much as drama sometimes.
But
and also they have this weird obsession with, and it's part of the character, but they have this weird obsession with bad 80s songs.
Yeah.
Every episode has a bad 80s song, and then like an acoustic version of said 80s song at the end. And it's like, Another Day in Paradise is one of them, obviously, very on the nose.
Yeah.
The Phil Collins one.
Right.
We Built This City by Starship is in the episode where they're talking about building the underground city.
Okay.
Like, it's very on the nose.
Yeah.
It's not quite Zack Snyder.
Right.
But it's not Zack Snyder. But I will say, all the bad 80s songs are also songs that are on my playlist. So
Right, yeah.
it happened to work for me.
It's my era. I like We Built This City.
Yeah.
God,
what is the first episode? It's got.
remember.
It's a very on the nose song.
But I will say, this is on our list because the new season just started.
It's 4 episodes in.
Dropped 3 episodes, right?
4th episode was last night.
Was it last night? Okay,
season
well,
2, 3,
this is
10?
season 2.
Season 2.
Okay.
And it did something a little bit interesting.
The first episode back is really interesting because
It doesn't
none of the
deal
main
with any
characters are in it.
Oh.
And
It's-
we're introduced to, she's a good actress. She's from a lot of like a post-apocalyptic teen sci-fi movies like Divergent. She plays like the main character.
They
in that.
do the same thing that Lost Vacation do, where they tell you a story about some completely new character.
Yes.
And
a lot of times I would be like frustrated with that when it starts. I was like, "Where's my favorite people?" But then by the end of it, I'm like, "Oh, this is really interesting."
And I had that same thing. I was like, "Oh, well, where are the people that I cared about in this previous season?"
Yeah.
But I immediately started caring about it because I thought her character arc was so interesting. How she deals with sort of this apocalyptic situation outside of this city.
Okay.
And how she lives, how she survives. It was very compelling, and then it goes to another place.
Yeah.
And the first 3 episodes are sort of about 3 central characters.
Yeah.
And where they are and how they got there. And I was really impressed with how they did it. I thought it was really compelling TV.
Remind me what it's streaming on.
It's on Hulu.
It's on Hulu.
Okay.
So the woman who plays Sinatra is an actress named Julianne Nicholson, who I recognize, but I don't know where I know her from. She's in Weird Al, the Yankovic story, as Mary. I don't know who that is. She's in I, Tonya as Diane Rawlinson. I don't know where I know her from, but she was Dance Mom in Hacks. That's where I know her from.
Oh, okay.
But she's great playing this sort of slightly sinister, but not just a villain.
She was the sister in Mayor of Easttown. That's what I most recently remember.
But everybody here is bringing their A game.
Yeah.
It is a really fascinating sort of dark story about, when you see the zombie apocalypse, you see the apocalypse happening.
Yeah.
When they get to episode 7, I think it's called The Day, where they show what happened that drove them underground. It is dark, and if you're in a rough mood because of the world seems to be falling apart, it will either make you feel a lot better or a lot worse. For me, I was like, well, at least we're not there.
Correct.
Yeah. That might be something.
And I thought James Marsden did a really good job.
Marsden, this may be my favorite thing he's done.
Yeah.
I love him in this. Better than Westworld.
Marsden plays
Cyclops. But
he's
the president.
The president, right.
Yeah.
I am having a hard time picturing it. I know he's not like some young pup anymore.
No, but
I just haven't seen him in a while.
He's a charming, young-looking guy.
Okay. Yeah. That sounds fun. I think I might try this out.
Yeah, worth a look. I really enjoyed it. I was glad I watched it. Not quite as sure I'm glad I watched it, though it did come around in the end. Another Hulu thing. There's a movie called Blink of an Eye, which I was seeing advertised. Somehow I became the target audience for this. I don't know why, but I was seeing a lot of ads for it. And it showed Kate McKinnon on like a spaceship, and then Rashida Jones from The Office, and Daveed Diggs in like the modern day. And it is done by Andrew Stanton, who was the director of Inside Out, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
While he wrote WALL-E, Finding Nemo, Bug's Life, he was a Pixar guy.
That's pretty big.
He also wrote part of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Did work on Lightyear. Wrote John Carter of Mars.
Okay.
And this was his like live action movie that clearly got dumped onto Hulu. And without going too much into it, it's the story. It's a movie. Yeah.
Okay.
It is the third of it takes place in caveman times. And it's about a small caveman family.
Really?
Yep.
That's all you had to say.
I knew I'd get you with that one. Third of it takes place in like 2035, so just slightly ahead of our future, where Rashida Jones is playing an anthropologist who is looking at the bones of this guy who clearly is one of the cavemen. And she is having a sort of fling with a guy played by Daveed Diggs. And she is being sort of an avoidant person. And he's trying to sort of like woo her, and she keeps like running away. And then there's a third part that takes place in like the far future. It's a colony spaceship where Kate McKinnon has like an AI co-pilot, and she's talking to him, and they're on their way to Kepler 4b to basically launch to do a colony.
Wild.
And these stories all converge, and the way they converge is really interesting. It is a slow burn. The first like 30 to 40 minutes, I almost noped out because I'm like, I don't care this much about cavemen. Sorry, Dave.
It's okay. Not everybody's ready for this world.
I don't care this much about watching Rashida Jones be an avoidant woman with a really good guy who's just she would be good. They like each other, and she is fucking it up at every turn. I'm like, and then I'm like, I love Kate McKinnon, but she's kind of on her own, playing sort of a scientist person, and like I'm not seeing the fun Kate McKinnon stuff. And so I was like, this may be a miss for me. But I stuck it out, and I was kind of glad I did. It's got sort of an uplifting, interesting sci-fi twist, and how it all plays out. I would recommend it.
Okay, I saw that this got added to Hulu, and I didn't remember when remember it when you start talking about it. But yeah, I like all the people involved. It looked interesting.
It's written by.
It's good to hear.
It's written by a guy named Colby Day, who's worked on For All Mankind and the movie Spaceman, and I want to say there's something else he's done.
It kind of feels right, because For All Mankind has that same sort of kind of slow-moving, kind of moving parts that join together.
Yeah, like I say, at the 30-40 minute mark, I would have been like, do not bother. And by the time I got to the end, I was like, I'm glad I watched that. I probably will never rewatch it.
Right.
But it was solid enough and interesting, and definitely Stanton is a guy who does different things, which I kind of like.
Yeah.
Last thing, let's talk about a book.
So yes, I've been on a Dungeon Crawler Carl kick.
A little bit. How many pins have you bought, Nick?
Too many. I've given you some now too, because they're duplicates. Still.
How many pieces of art have you drawn of Dungeon Crawler Carl?
A lot, actually, and I've been handing them out, and I've been very happy that people are actually picking them up and knowing who those characters are. I love that this.
And how many of the 7 books have you read more than once?
6.
So on a bit of a kick.
I'm a bit of a kick. I've read them, and I'm listening to the audiobooks.
Yeah, you're way. I'm just finishing up the 3rd audiobook and loving it, but you got way ahead of me.
Well, Kaylee's been gone, so I've been sitting just drawing, and I've had that going in the background,
that makes sense,
and it's kind of been a nice change of pace of not watching a ton of television and doing that, and I've been walking a lot more lately, so it's been kind of a thing.
Yeah,
but Matt Dinniman, I know he's written a lot of stuff prior to the Dungeon Crawler Carl. Yep. This was just the thing that kind of broke out.
Yeah.
He just released a new book called Operation Bounce House,
okay,
which is a standalone book, not touching on anything with Dungeon Crawler Carl. It's sort of about a colonist on a planet called New Sonora.
Okay.
And about a period of time, they're just now getting connected back to Earth through a gate that allows fast travel.
Okay.
But their planet becomes under threat by Operation Bounce House, which is basically the government of Earth has decided that they want their land. And to take it back, they have enlisted a company to do a video game that controls mechs that kills off the colonists.
Okay.
It is a fucked up story that has no bearing on anything the government is doing right now. I don't know what you're talking about.
They're definitely not trying to take the leash off of all AI so that we can actually get the Terminator future.
Right.
True. Yeah. This also has definite elements of AI involved and kind of some of that. So Dinniman is dealing with some interesting things. He still has that anarchic kind of vibe to it. This book focuses on a group of young 20-somethings who are kind of dealing with growing up without kind of the trappings of Earth and kind of like a very kind of simplistic life. They're ranchers. They're doing things like that. Their mothers and fathers, there was a disease that went through the Earth that killed off a lot of people, so they're kind of dealing with their grandfathers and grandmothers. So there's kind of a generational gap in there. So Dinniman does great with world building.
Yeah.
He really does. And then he's
also good at character stuff.
He laser focuses on a group of characters that you end up at some point you're like, fuck, I love these characters. Yeah. These characters all have something to them. And this is kind of...
that'd be a fun side discussion to have at some point. I was just telling somebody about Godzilla -1 the other day.
Yeah.
And how, like, the characters he meets on, like, the fishing boat when he gets his job, they all end up being great characters, and I'm just instantly...
Yeah.
I'm like, I need every one of these characters to live.
Right.
And all this stuff, and, like, when something can pull that off, it's impressive.
So, it is a humanistic story told from a colonist's perspective, but it also devolves into, has a ton of action.
Okay.
There's a little bit of mech warrior because of all them fighting up against mechs.
Yep.
They do have a technology that can fight against these mechs, so they're not without some avenue of fighting back.
Yeah.
But they are definitely on their heels.
Yeah.
I started off in kind of, I wasn't sure if I was going to like it as much.
Right.
By the end of it, I was full tilted. I took some time reading the first. It's set in 5 days. It takes place over 5 days, and each day is a long part of the book. Mm-hmm. And after like part 2, I was like in. And I recommend it if you like the Carl books. I think this is definitely one to check out.
He also has one, I keep hearing, the title is so good, it's a Kaiju Battlefield Surgeon.
Yes, I know that was one of his first, or maybe not first, but it's well regarded. I know it's dark, but yeah, I like the title too. So I will probably check it out. I'm very excited for the Carl book that comes out in May, though.
Yeah. I was looking to see what else he'd done. He also, Lit RPG Horror is Kaiju Battlefield Surgeon. Lit RPG Sci-Fi Fantasy is Dominion of Blades. Fantasy Horror is The Shivered Sky. Horror is The Grinding. And Fantasy is Trailer Park Fairy Tales. He's done a bunch of stuff before 2020 when...
He's a prolific guy.
Yeah. I'm curious to read more of his stuff once I get through Dungeon Crawler Carl and also the other books that are sitting on my read-to-read list.
Yeah. I kind of made that a goal for me this year is to... Last year, I did not read books.
I made this goal 2 years ago. I invited my friends to suggest books to me, so I'd have a list of 12 books to read. I have not read those 12 books. I've never managed to make the 12. But I did read some of them. Yeah. So for the last 2 years, I've managed to do a little more reading, especially with audiobooks, and I definitely recommend it.
I mean, it's not unlike when I do the movie challenge, 30 movies in 30 days. You may not always pull it off, but if you do 12 or 15 or something like that, like you've done something.
Yeah, one of our friends is going to hit 30, but he's a crazy person.
He's a crazy person.
I just I used to be a voracious reader.
Same, and I can't read the way I used to.
And part of it I think is me because like having been pulled into the what do you call it? The world of social media and all these distractions.
Yep.
Right. And then part of it is also the world.
Yes.
But it is tougher. And certainly, I would just like for things to calm the F down.
Yeah.
I need a little bit of background calmness to help me. And sometimes a book can help with that, but sometimes I can't focus on it.
That's what I'm utilizing books as right now, is to kind of a break from the world.
That's good.
I can kind of... right now, I'm kind of on an adventure kick. Carl has definitely dealt with that, but is kind of spirals into things we're dealing with right now anyways, because that's what Dinniman does. But... I just, it's been a nice break of reality. Just shoving myself in a world where I can root for somebody.
Yeah.
And that's...
Wow.
That's freaking hard now.
That's a thing that
I will say,
people can do.
We're kind of lucky because we're all pop culture obsessed.
Yeah.
We watch more TV, read more books, and watch more movies, read more comics than most people on average do.
I think so, too. Definitely.
So it's, even that, we all feel like we don't get to do as much as we would like.
Right.
So it is nice to get a chance to sit down and, read a book that we've been wanting to get to.
But I will say lately, the Earth has eroded the world in general has eroded my enjoyment of watching things.
Yeah.
Because I've definitely been very distracted even while watching. I haven't been able to plug into stuff.
That's fair. Yeah.
This weekend, I was able to sort of plug into things because Night of the Seven Kingdoms, all this stuff were really good, and I was kind of able to shove everything aside and kind of delve into that.
Yeah.
I recommend finding some kind of database, say your store's database, and working obsessively on that from home while watching things.
That's my drive. That's what I do. I obsessively drive. I'm sure Kaylee wants to kill me, but it's fine.
So show note, there will be no show next week.
Correct.
I will be in Las Vegas at a board game convention.
What we're going to do instead, and we may still want to set up the mic for this, is for 2 hours I'm going to come in here and curl up and take a nappy poo.
Yeah, so if you want to hear Dave's Napcast...
he may talk in his sleep, we don't know.
Yeah, we know.
Tell me what I say. It'll be fun. But other than that, we'll see you in about 2
weeks.
Cool.
And until that time, yo Joe.
Roguecast is a weekly podcast broadcast from Rogues Gallery Comics and Games in Round Rock, Texas. You can find us online on Facebook and at www.roguesgallerytx.com and email us comments or questions at roguesgallerytx@gmail.com. Thanks for listening.